Good morning. Good morning to you. Friday, the 26th of March, 2021. Squeeze, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing mighty fine today, man.
All right, good. Alan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the weekend, everybody. And of course, welcome to Cruising with the Case Handler. No, your watch is not broken. It is 9:03 a.m. It is not 9:30 a.m. And for those of you watching right now on Facebook Live, thank you so much. We're a little early today, 30 minutes early, got some business to attend to. So wanted to make sure that we got as much quality content out there this morning for you folks watching on Facebook Live and also for you folks listening on 93.5 FM. Squeeze, we live on the radio right now?
Yes, we are live right now.
Oh, I love that. 93.5 FM, my home, my community, my dupes, as David would say, for since 2005. So that's over 16 years. I've been doing this radio show in one way or another, embracing the community that has certainly embraced me back. My name is Adam Handler. I am your case handler. I am a personal injury attorney and partner of Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. They call me the case handler. They call me the shark. They call me the beast. They call me the hot stepper. One thing they'll never call me, though, is somebody that backs down. I never back down. I make sure that I go for as much as possible for my client, making sure that they feel like family in the process. I am a third-generation attorney. My family's been practicing law. Personal injury law, actually, in New York City for nearly 100 years, since 1932. That's when my grandfather, Leo, began his practice here in Brooklyn, New York. So thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the weekend. Let me give out a few pieces of information, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty of it. First of all, is our phone number. Everybody out there listening right now, should have this number saved or know where to find this number. Of course, you can always Google the case handler, or you can always Google PPID, but it's also nice to have it saved in your phone. Our phone number is 844-774-3529, 844-774-3529, or easy to remember, 844-PPID law. PPID is Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, the initials of our firm. We are also streaming, of course, live on Facebook and Instagram. If you can check out the case handler on Facebook or check out the case handler on Instagram, it would mean the world to me. You'll be connected to my practice. You'll see for your own very eyes the wonderful, special, and exceptional work we do for our clients that never expected they'd ever get into that accident. Of course, the number is available too. For a very, very, very limited time left, you can call and get your immigration question answered for free. So if you call 844-774-3529, you can call, be connected to our practice schedule. You won't have the consultation right away, but you can schedule that 100% free phone consultation with respect to immigration, with respect to personal injury, real estate, any legal need you have. You want to speak to a lawyer for free, you give that number a call. And, a lot of people have been taking advantage of that free phone consultations, particularly with immigration, which makes me happy because at least they know where they stand, whether they have a case or don't have a case. There's some things you just we can't adjust your status because the laws right now are not on your side. And we'll be very, very truthful with you with that. Would never take your money for a case we don't think we can win. So to be listening to this show right now on Facebook, or to be listening to this show right now on 93.5 FM and having either an immigration issue for yourself, your spouse, your child, your parent, or your sibling, and not knowing what you can do about it is so silly. All you got to do is pick up that phone, right? Remember these little things right here that we used to pick up back in the day instead of our cell phone? And give us a call. Know where you stand. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain by calling our firm, Pollack, Isaac, DeSico. Again, 844-774-3529. With that said, I'd like to toss it over real quick to my friend, my partner, my colleague, my co-pilot, Mr. David Squeeze Annakie. How are you, Squeeze?
I'm doing mighty fine, man. Love that Yankee hat. Remind me when I come to your house to steal that hat, all right?
No, listen, what does Jay-Z say? I make the Yankee hat make more famous than the Yankees do.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the man himself, Adam Handler. He definitely needs no introduction.
Calls are coming in. You hear that?
Yep. He definitely needs no introduction when it comes to 93.5 FM. Anyone who gets hurt in an accident, know that there's only one man you call after you've sought medical attention. The case handler, whatever you want to call him, Adam Handler. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the top attorney on this station. I love to brag. I love to boast. I don't need to toast because he's truly the man with the most. Adam Handler. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you reach out to him. Accidents, that's the automobile ones. Slip and fall, medical malpractice, construction accident. Take the number. That's the most important thing right now because you're not in an accident now. But if and when it does happen, family, friend, or foe, make sure you make it. Adam Handler, the case handler. 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844-PPIDLAW. And of course, Adam is going to be popping in with a true success story in a few minutes. But before we get back to personal injury, we're going to speak with the general. And his name is Alan E. Cade. He is truly the most, in my opinion, knowledgeable immigration attorney in the nation. I dubbed him that. Many others have also. And he's, of course, with the firm PPID. That's Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. We're going to allow him to give us some updates on immigration. Turn up your radios, listen keenly, listen carefully. The same information he's giving, you can catch it in the newsletter from PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. By you joining, you can do so by emailing news@ppid.com.
And just before he gets started, I just want to make sure that everybody out there knows, because maybe there's some different listeners at 9 o'clock than there is at 9:30. Why we call him the general? He is the most experienced immigration attorney out there right now.
Facts.
That is it.
Facts.
If you've been practicing immigration law longer than Alan K, I want you to call us up right now, and Squeeze will connect you, and you will go toe to toe talking about the years of experience you have, the connections you have all over. And Alan, I really would like you today to talk about your connections and talk about the people that you know in different areas and how we can help. Because I think just in addition to talking about immigration law, I think it's important that people understand who they are truly dealing with. That when they call 844-774-3529, how they know, how they're going to know that they got the right person fighting for them. So before we even get started with that, Alan, will you just talk about briefly, your experience in immigration law, your accolades, and your connections?
Okay, fine. I've been practicing immigration law for over 40 years. I'm listed in the best lawyers in America for immigration. I'm a past president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, which now has about 10,000 members. I'm the co-chair of the Immigration Committee of the Queens County Bar Association. I'm co-chair of the Immigration Committee of the International Law and Practice section of the New York State Bar Association. As far as kind of people that I know, I was going to talk about this today anyway, but there is an office called the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman is not part of USCIS. It's part of the Department of Homeland Security. And if you have an immigration problem, PPID can help you, but sometimes you may go to Ombudsman or we may go to the Ombudsman for you. And there's a new head of the Ombudsman's office. Her name is Phyllis Coven. I know her. She was a district director in Los Angeles. She was a district director in New York, and she's been named the Ombudsman, and I hope to be interviewing her soon. I also run what we call a congressional breakfast, and we do these a couple of times a year, and we invite all the Congress people from downstate and senators, and usually their immigration assistants, who you will, when you have an immigration problem, you may call Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, your local congressman, and you don't really talk to them, you talk to the immigration person. So I put on a breakfast, a congressional breakfast for all the congressional assistants, and we do this about 3 or 4 times a year. We also, PPID runs Zoom lectures for a lot of the American consulates in the New York area, and we've already done for Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Guatemala, a whole bunch of other countries, Jamaica especially. We did a 2-hour session for Jamaica, and these are Zoom lectures we do for the local American consulates. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of an idea of who I am and what I'm doing. And now I'd like to give you some updates on what's going on in the immigration world. Okay. Now, we mentioned that President Biden has decided we're not going to use the term alien anymore. Not a nice sounding name. He now wants to use the term non-citizen. So alien has been taken out of all the immigration regulations, rules, everything, and now they're called non-citizen. It's a nicer way of doing it. Now, a number of proposals that were put into effect or about to be put into effect by the previous administration have been axed out. And so the public charge regulation out. The health insurance regulation has been enjoined in the federal courts. And lately, within about a week, U.S. Citizenship and our Immigration Services withdrew a proposed rule that would have required bank account information from Americans looking to sponsor relatives for green cards, and would have restricted you to being able to sponsor people if you use certain public benefits. So that proposal has been scrapped. Public charge out, health insurance out. Those are good things. Now, when you're doing an immigration case, you frequently have to do biometrics, which is like fingerprinting. And so you're called for a biometrics, to do the biometrics at a certain center out here in New York. The problem is that there's a big backlog on biometrics. 91,000 cases are waiting for biometrics, and that's going to hold up your immigration case. Now, as far as changes in immigration are done 3 ways. They're done by something called executive orders, which the ex-president did about 1,000 of these executive orders, and the Biden administration is trying to undo a lot of those executive orders from the previous administration. Also, changes in immigration come by through regulation, much better than executive orders. But the problem is regulations can change as the administration changes. The best way to make changes in immigration is through legislation. That's harder to do. And talking about legislation, there are 4 pieces of legislation which you should know about, which are pending now. One of them is called the Dream and Promise Act, which would get a lot of relief and stability to young people who have 2.5 million undocumented immigrant youths and long-term residents who have been here. So that's one thing that's pending, the Dream and Promise Act. The second thing that's pending is the Farm Worker Modernization Act, which will help millions of people who can qualify under the Farm Worker Modernization Act. And then we have something new, which was just put in by Senator Elizabeth Warren and a few of the Congress people, which is called the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. And that will give permanent residence and eventually citizenship to certain people who are described as essential workers, not just anybody who's here without a status. Certain occupations qualify as essential workers. So we've got these different pieces of legislation pending. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. Now, also, another thing that we have now is we've got the administration has just granted temporary protected status to Venezuela. So if you are from Venezuela and you're in the United States, you can apply for TPS, temporary protected status, get a working card, and be covered and not be subject to removal, which is a good thing. So that's TPS for Venezuela. Now let's talk a little bit about ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. Under ICE, under the previous administration, ICE could and did grab people on the street for any reason, basically, and scoop them up and subject them to removal. According to a March 9th report, ICE arrests fell by more than 60% in the month of February. And that's because of Biden administration has some new interim immigration enforcement priorities. And the new priorities are not just anybody who's illegally here. They're focusing on national security, border security, and public safety. They also, Biden administration has also created something good, which is called the new appeal process. It will allow immigrants to more easily challenge an arrest, a detention, a deportation. Under this program, which is called the ICE case review process, immigrants and their lawyers can request that their arrest, their detention, their imminent deportation can be reviewed to determine whether that arrest, that detention, that imminent deportation would meet the administration's new enforcement priorities. So the fact that ICE arrests are down more than half in February and they have new priorities is a good thing for everybody. Now, you want to cut me off? Go ahead.
Not cutting you off. I like how you put it. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off, man.
Call me when you're ready.
All right, no problem. Once again, no, I mean, I love getting the updates, but I wanted to interject and let people know that they should also get in on the updates by joining the firm's, newsletter. And they can do that by just emailing news@ppid.com. So this way, they get that, ever so often updates from the firm, Pollack, Isaac, and Seco. And I also wanted to take some time out to introduce the managing partner, Conrad Pollack. I wasn't really, interrupting you, or cutting you off rather. Mr. Conrad Pollack, how you doing before we get to the handler?
I'm good. Sorry I was late, but it seems that the general had things well under control, well at hand, providing a lot of good information there. Hopefully everybody out there who's listening is taking notes. This is good stuff,
Good stuff and good stuff, Once again, folks, that's the voice. We call him Conrad Pollack. Well, that's his government name. We call him the voice, all right? He's the managing partner at the firm, Pollack, Isaac, and Seco, which is located in New York City at 225 Broadway, with offices in Peekskill and Brooklyn. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, before I kick it over to the guy with the Yankee hat, all right, Adam Handler, the personal injury attorney, the accident attorney, just wanted to say thanks to each and every one who is actually on Facebook, sharing up a storm right now. You also heard from the General Alan E.K., who gave his accolades and what he's all about and gave you some strong, solid updates. And there's a whole lot more to come because there's a lot happening with immigration. I'm surprised Conrad did not say anything as to what Mr. Biden said yesterday. Surprised.
Well, he didn't, just interrupt you, he didn't really talk much about prospective policies. He talked about what's going on down at the border.
Right.
And basically, and correctly, assign most of the blame for what's going on to previous administration, how they hollowed out the asylum system. Most of the questions at the news conference yesterday had to do with what's going on at the border. But, Biden is showing a lot of discipline, and he's talking about the good things that he's doing and his agenda, and he's not going to get sidetracked and get into shouting matches or name calling like someone else before him used to do. As far as immigration, look, the comprehensive reform bill is out there. It's going to be a while before it happens, if ever. He has other things that are much more important right now, such as the voting rights issues and the filibuster and things like that, and the stimulus plan that they just put forth, that just passed. Fact is, the immigration system is opening up. It's a world of difference already between what we saw under the previous administration. And actually, March 31st, the remaining visa ban ends. I'm sure he's not extending it. So people that have been waiting for a long time to get temporary visas, work visas, are going to be able to do it again. Do I speak correctly, Alan?
You're correct. Well, after March 31st, things will be a lot better for people waiting to get their non-immigrant visas. That's been on hold.
Good news, and that's coming up next week. All right. Once again, folks, Cruising with a Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration. If you'd like to get your immigration questions answered for free, you must call before the top of the hour. So make sure you call 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPIDLAW and get that mini consultation and then hire the attorneys. 844-774-3529. Let's kick it over to Adam Handler, the dude with the Yankee hat on, of course, the Zoom session right here, and also, of course, on Facebook and on 93.5 WVIP FM. He's the personal injury attorney of the station. Adam Handler, any true success story for me, my brother? Got to unmute, rather. There you go.
I was opening up some mail and I didn't want to have the ruffling of the papers going, but yeah, I have got true life success stories. I've got thousands of true life success stories. Listen, when you've been practicing law for over 17 years and you are passionate and dedicated to what you do and good at what you do, you're going to be helping thousands of people. And I literally have thousands of different stories about helping families that never expected in a million years that they get into that accident. You know, I got a call last night. Somebody was stopped at a red light, car ran into their back. They were taken over to Brookdale Hospital. I mean, this just happened last night. I mean, it happens every day. Just playing the percentages. If you're driving out there or you're on the construction site or you're walking on the city street, it's a small chance, thankfully, it's going to happen, but the chances are something's going to happen to you. And though you can never fully prepare for an accident, you know, we say you can fully prepare for your response. And the question, I guess, for you, ladies and gentlemen, watching on Facebook and listening on 93.5 FM is, what is your response going to be when disaster strikes? Are you going to go with the attorney that rolls up to you at the scene of the accident or in the emergency room? Are you going to take the business card of the tow truck operator that says, yeah, I know a good lawyer and a good therapy office, you should use them? Are you going to go with the guy that's, you know, on the top of the hour, you know, talking about, you know, the things that their firm does? They're not practicing attorneys themselves. You know, there's a million different people out there that you can choose, but I hope that if you're listening to us right now on 93.5 FM, or if you're watching us right now on Facebook, you know the difference. You know the real deal. You're down with PPID. You know the case handler is there for you. And I truly hope that you'll consider our firm if you ever do need our services. But with respect to a true life success story, you know, you don't take our word for it. Don't take Squeeze's word for it. Don't take, you know, the Irie Jam guys' word for it that have endorsed me for so many years. Take the word of those who have come before you that never expected that they'd be in that accident, and then called us up and we took care of business. So we can pick a recent case that we had here. Give me a second. I want something juicy. How about this one? $1.5 million for a construction accident. Ian. Squeeze, if you can read that quote for me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, so this is a construction accident here. Big numbers, man. Adam Handler, the case handler, is my guy. He did a lot for me. Ian from Long Island. And this is someone who evidently, I presume, got hurt on a construction site. And the settlement here says 1.5 million US dollars.
Yep. And this case occurred on a Friday, just like today, you know, on a construction site. Boss wants to get things done before the end of the week, probably has a deadline to meet, running behind as they usually are, and he's rushing his crew. And nobody should have been working above Ian on that day. Unfortunately, the boss did send people up to the floors above. He was working in an open elevator shaft, and to get the work done, he had people working below. He had people working next to him. He had people working above. guy working above him, swinging a sledgehammer, hammering out some rebar. All of a sudden, the head of the sledgehammer flies off the handle, falls down the elevator shafts, knocks into his shoulder, knocks him off his ladder. He falls to the ground. He was out of work for a couple of years. We got all his medical bills paid, all his time out of work paid. And on top of that, got a settlement for $1.5 million, Squeeze. I mean, life-changing money for this guy. He's doing much better these days. I actually did speak to him recently about what he's doing. He gave up the construction business. He took the money. He bought a vehicle. He's driving Uber right now. He's also back in school getting his degree. So, certainly life-changing money for life-changing injury, Squeeze. A $1.5 million settlement for a construction case. And that's why, that's what I said a few minutes ago. Do you think that he was, working in that elevator shaft expecting that a freaking sledgehammer was going to break off and fall down and hit him? Of course not. But, when those kind of incidents happen, when something falls on you or you fall off something on a construction site, I don't ever use the word perfect, but it's a nearly perfect case, Squeeze. And you got to hold the people accountable, which would be the owner of the property and the general contractor on the job. That's what we did. $1.5 million for Ian. A great guy I still keep in touch with to this very day. He probably is listening right now and probably is going to text me saying, "Oh, I can't believe you talked about my case, man. Can't believe you talked about my case." And I'm going to say, what's wrong with talking about your case? And he's going to say, because you didn't have me on with you, man. I wanted to tell everybody about the case. So, Ian, what's up, man, if you're listening?
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Handler, your personal injury attorney, for the show Cruising with a Case Handler. We are speaking on immigration, and you just heard him speak about personal injury, getting hurt. That was a construction accident. Do remember to store this number, 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Everyone that's listening need the number of good attorneys, whether it's immigration or personal injury that you may need it on. You need the number. Dial it, let it ring 15, 20 seconds. 844-774-3529. Flipping to immigration real quick before we conclude. Here's an immigration question. I'm an unmarried, over 21-year-old who is trying to seek some information as it relates to a petition, an I-130 filed by my mom. I'm somewhat confused because based on my research, I see where some were found to be 6 years old and some 7 years old for the above mentioned petition. My question is, can I travel to the United States on my non-immigrant visa and have my case transferred to the United States instead of me waiting for the specific time period given? Gentlemen?
If this person has a visa, he can use it. If he has a petition pending, it sounds like for years, which it's going to take years. It could take up to 10 years to get that petition finished, the process finished. If he has a visa, yes, he can travel with it. If he doesn't have a visa, he's going to have a hard time getting one.
There you go. I'm a Jamaican female. Another question. I'm a Jamaican female living in Jamaica. My son, who is 5 years old and has been living with me from birth, has been filed for without my consent to live in America. It was just 2 weeks ago that I was informed that he was and that he should leave the country in a few days. I've refused to send him. I'm now anticipating the fallout of my decision. Can his father forcefully take him from me? Do they need my consent to take him out of the country? Can immigration take him? In case any of this is possible, what should I do? I guess this is not even an immigration question anymore, is it?
You should be in touch with the American consulate and explain to them that you're not giving a consent for your son to leave the country. And also maybe talk to the Jamaican authorities. We're not sure whether your son has a passport or not. If he doesn't, you don't want him to have a passport. So there are things that we can do to help you. Just give us a call. We'll try to work with you on this.
In respect to that, adding to that, in respect to that, ladies and gentlemen, the firm PPID can deal in respect to the laws here in the United States, but not necessarily the laws in Jamaica. As Alan noted, you may want to consult an attorney or the authorities there to deal with situations like this. All right. Here's another question. I've been married for 4 years. My husband recently decided to leave me and now has filed for divorce. He moved out in November 2, 2020, and I was served divorce papers on December 22, 2020. I have the conditional 2-year green card, which was extended for 18 months after my husband and I, filed the papers on August 7, 2020 for the permanent 10-year green card. My question is, how can this affect my filing status, and what is the best way to move forward?
Well, there's a good chance that you'll be called for an interview, and they are expecting your husband to come. But of course, your husband's not going to go to the interview, and you may have to file. And once you're divorced, you can file this yourself to remove the 2-year condition. So all is not lost. I mean, just the fact that he's going to be divorcing you, maybe it'll be better for you, and we'll be happy to sit with you, consult with you, and even go with you to the interview. So call PPID at the number and give us a call. We'll do a consultation, try to help you out. We know we can help you out with this case.
Yeah, it's a fairly common situation that she is describing, and she's not going to be able to navigate this by herself. Obviously, they've been doing this case on their own. She's not going to be able to finish this case on their own because now she's no longer eligible. As Alan said, they get an interview, they're going to expect the husband to be there. He's not there. She could get denied, and she could end up in removal proceedings. The best thing is to be proactive and take care of things now, which we can help to do.
So once again, folks, reach out to the firm, 844-PPID law. Call before the top of the hour, as noted before, so you can get your immigration consultations in. All right. Here it says, my father, who is a United States citizen, has petitioned on my behalf to come to the United States. If I get married to a U.S. citizen, who in turn will file for me, do I get to the U.S. in the same time span as regular married beneficiaries? And does my father's case become void, or does this create a worse case for me?
If
How old is the person?
your father's case doesn't get voided, but that's going to take quite a while. If you marry a U.S. citizen, it's a much quicker and better case. I mean, you can have two things going at the same time. You can have the wife case filing for you going, fast case. You can have the father filing for you going, slow case. So the two cases can go along at the same time, but the wife case is the one that's going to get you quickly here.
Got you. Gentlemen, thank you all so much. Attorneys dealing with immigration, Alan E.K., the general, and Conrad Pollack, the managing partner of the firm, the architect, as we call him also. I want to say thanks to Adam Handler, our personal injury attorney, the case handler, who has been so great at what it is that he does, that he has a show named after him. Make sure you reach out to the firm. The number is 844-774-3529. Do remember, you can catch us here each and every single weekday mornings at 9:30 a.m., sometimes at 9, considering today. And also, of course, obviously with replays on the weekends, on Saturdays between 6 and 8, Sundays between 10 and 2 p.m. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for sharing. Do remember the phone number for the firm is 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID law, 844-774-3529. Thank you all so much. Have yourself an amazing weekend. Take care.